David Morrison, a senior scientist at NASA's Astrobiology Institute, has been answering hundreds of emails recently about the year 2012 through his Ask an Astrobiologist website. Some of the questions have to do with a heretofore invisible planet, others with a reversal of the poles of the Earth, and some with the Mayan calendar. Dr. Morrison has tracked down some of the sources of these myths and compiled answers to the most often heard questions. He attributes the hype about the year 2012 to cosmophobia, fear of something bad happening to our planet, fueled by fake science websites such as the one associated with the new movie 2012, and with people trying to cash in on the public's lack of knowledge. Morrison has coined the term cosmophobia for these concerns and has seen a huge increase in the phenomenon this year. For several months, NASA and many astronomers have been receiving increasingly worried letters from members of the public about the possibility, mostly found on the internet, that the world may end in 2012. Many mechanisms for doomsday are being proposed, including a collision with a fictional planet called Nibiru. Dr. Morrison's summary of the claims and his scientific response is being published by the Astronomical Society of the Pacific. He has received so many questions that he felt he had to investigate and set the record straight. One of his most interesting findings is that the distributors of the science fiction picture 2012 are purposely feeding the flames of the internet panic by creating a fake science website and encouraging people to search for 2012 on the web. Most of the sites these searches encounter are completely fake, often by people who have written books on coming disasters that they are trying to sell. Dr. Morrison's article is in the form of questions and answers. There may be reasons to worry about the future of our planet, but no reason to single out the winter solstice of 2012. As for another planet colliding with Earth, Morrison states simply, astronomers have reached the point where we can offer extremely strong arguments that Nibiru does not exist. A large planet in our solar system would have been known to astronomers for many years, both indirectly from its gravitational effect and by direct detection. NASA carried out the first all-sky survey in 1983, and several subsequent surveys would also have seen a planet if it were there. If a large mass passed through the inner solar system, we would see its disruptive effects on the orbits of the inner planets, and we don't. As for the polar shift theory, he writes, a reversal in the rotation of the Earth is impossible. It has never happened and it never will. There are slow movements of the continents, but those are irrelevant to claims of reversal of the poles. However, many of the disaster websites claim a relationship between the rotation and the magnetic polarity of Earth, which does change irregularly, with a magnetic reversal taking place every 400,000 years on average. As far as we know, such a reversal doesn't cause any harm to life on Earth. It is very unlikely to happen in the next few millennia, but these websites falsely claim that a magnetic reversal is coming soon and that this is the same as or will trigger a reversal of the rotational poles. The bottom line is, rotation direction and magnetic polarity are not related. There is no reason to expect a reversal of magnetic polarity at any time soon, or to anticipate any bad effects on life when it does eventually happen. And 3, a sudden shift in rotational poles with disastrous consequences is impossible. Also, he adds, none of this has anything to do with the galactic equator. Dr. Morrison is a planetary astronomer, best known for his leadership in defining the threat of Earth-threatening asteroids. He was one of the founders of the Science of Astrobiology and the Director of Astrobiology and Space Research at NASA Ames Research Center. So what about the ancient Mayan calendar? Morrison states, calendars exist for keeping track of the passage of time, not for predicting the future. The Mayan astronomers developed a very complex calendar. The main point, however, is that calendars, whether contemporary or ancient, cannot predict the future of our planet or warn of any bad things to happen on a specific date, such as 2012. I note that my desk calendar ends much sooner, on December 31st, 2009, but I do not interpret this as a prediction of Armageddon. It's just the beginning of a new year. The calendar was constructed by an advanced civilization called the Mayans around 250 to 900 AD. Evidence for the Mayan civilization stretches around most parts of the southern states of Mexico and to the current countries of Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, and Honduras. The Mayan people had advanced writing skills and constructed great cities, and they are probably most famous for their pyramids and other grand buildings. They had a huge impact on Central American culture, and many Mayans still live today, continuing their age-old traditions. They used many different calendars for social, agricultural, commercial, and administrative tasks, but there was also a religious element. The Mayan calendar was based on astronomical cycles of the moon and sun. Most of the Mayan calendars were short. The Tzolk'in calendar lasted for 260 days, and the Hab calendar approximated the solar year of 365 days. The Mayans then combined both calendars to form the calendar round, a cycle lasting 52 Habs, around 52 years, or the approximate length of a generation. The Hab consists of 18 months, each of 20 days. This calendar's primary purpose was to keep track of the seasons, for seasonal and solar events would occur on roughly the same day of each year. The sacred calendar was known as a Tzolk'in. It combines the numbers from 1 through 13 with a sequence of 20-day names. The two independently running calendars each begin again every 260 and 360 plus 5 days. However, every 52 years, the two calendars coincide. The two calendars ran concurrently, like intermeshed cogwheels, and to return to any given date, 18,980 days or 52 years would have to elapse. Both 365 times 52 and 260 times 73 equal 18,980. In other words, this Tzolk'in would make 73 revolutions in the Hab 52. So every 52 calendar years of 365 days, one would return to the same date. At the end of the 52-year cycle, the people would await the rising of the Pleiades star cluster as a sign the gods would provide another 52-year cycle. The Mayans also expanded on the 52-year calendar round. It's called the long count, a calendar lasting 5,126 years. It depends on a base unit of 20, whereas our modern calendars use a base unit of 10. The base year for the Mayan long count starts at 0.0.0.0.0. Each zero goes from 0 to 19, and each represents a tally of Mayan days. So, for example, the first day in the long count is denoted as 0.0.0.0.1. On the 19th day, we'll have 0.0.0.19. On the 20th day, it goes up one level, and we have 0.0.0.1.0. Just like the odometer on your car. The count continues through the next level, 365 days, the next 20 years, and the final level, 400 years. The basic units are 1 day, 1 month of 20 days, 18 months in a year, 360 days, 20 years called tons, and 20 tons called the Bak ton, or about 400 years, and finally 13 Bak tons, where the use of 13 may represent the growth of the moon from new to full. The cycle of the long count ends after 13 cycles of 400 years, or 5,126 years later, on December 21st, 2012. Although they are not part of the long count, the Mayans had calculated larger time spans, some so long that only modern-day scientists would ever use them. 1 picton, or 20 baktons, is approximately 7,885 years. 1 calibton, 20 pictons, is approximately 158,000 years. 1 kinchilton, or 20 caliptons, is approximately 3 million years, and 1 alaton, or 20 kinchiltons, is approximately 63 million years. As Australian scientist Carl Kruszelnicki writes, when a calendar comes to the end of a cycle, it just rolls over into the next cycle. In our Western society, every year, December 31st is followed not by the end of the world, but by January 1st. So 130000 in the Mayan calendar will be followed by 00001, or December 22nd, 2012, with only a few shopping days left till Christmas. This is Rita Qawl, Director of Education for Challenger Center for Space Science Education, signing off.